you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sasha Farbach. Moldovan court has sentenced pro-Kremlin regional leader Evghenia Guțul on Tuesday to 7 years in jail for channeling money from Russia to finance a political party. Also, it's just weeks before Moldova heads to the polls, and a new front in the information war is opening, this time aimed not inside the country, but abroad. Russia is now targeting Moldova's diaspora across Europe, pushing fake news and propaganda to influence one of the EU's newest candidate countries. Joining us now to analyze it all further is Pavel Havlíček, Research Fellow, Association for International Affairs. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on TVP World.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pavel, let's begin with the most recent developments. If we're looking at this very unique situation, I mean, already it's complicated in Moldova. Gagauzia, break us down a little bit what's happened here. What are the charges filed against Ms. Guțul, and what does this mean for this upcoming election?
Yes, so Mrs. Guțul was officially charged for basically smuggling financial resources from Moscow over the period of 3 years between 2019 and 22. We know that she has been a very close ally to Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin as such. She's been also previously sanctioned by the United States and also the EU for its illicit activities, undermining the sovereignty of the Republic of Moldova. So she has been quite widely actually known for doing what she has been doing, meaning being the fifth column to the Kremlin actually inside of the Republic of Moldova. So that has been quite a widely public case. But of course, most recently, she has been not only sort of put charged and put on house arrest, but she has been now sentenced for several years actually for doing these kind of activities that we discussed.
Mm-hmm. And also what matters here is obviously the connection with Vladimir Putin. You said that this is something which has Moldovans concerned, and we're already looking at Transnistria. Now we have Gagauzia. Is this a kind of weak link now in Moldova? What could Putin's reaction now be to this, and how this impact the elections that are just around the corner?
So Russia's official places, they already denounced the measure. Basically, they condemned this sentence for basically violating the political freedoms and freedom of speech and activities within the politically contested playground. As you rightly mentioned, Moldova is facing elections, crucial parliamentary elections in a several week time, of course. And you rightly also pointed out that the region of Gagauzia has been one of the sort of soft spots for the Kremlin interference. In the past, for many decades, that has been attributed to Transnistria and the local separatist region. But more and more, when isolating the region further, and preventing the abuse, for example, when busing people from one bank of the Dniester River to the other one for voting, now it has been actually Gagauzia and the local population that has been manipulated throughout this way. Just to remind that this is a region having an autonomy without the Republic of Moldova, a largely speaking population of Turkic origin. Gagauz people quite sort of keen on listening to Russian-speaking journals and media sources, including, unfortunately, also the Russia's propaganda. So that has been one of the soft spots and heavily abused by the Kremlin itself.
Mm-hmm. And also with these allegations, also now with this conviction of funneling money into political parties, I mean, this is concerned not just in Gagauzia, I suppose, but how deep does this go? I mean, is this the only case of this? I mean, surely there must be other links here. Are the Moldovans investigating this? Is this just the tip of the iceberg? How far does this go?
This goes as far as it goes, really. I have to say, and I already called what's happening now in the Republic of Moldova a playground for Russia's activities. Unfortunately, Russia abusing the sort of gray zone in which the Republic of Moldova lies in between the Russian bloc and the Western bloc, or the EU as such, and NATO, of course, included. They have really abused this vulnerability that Moldova is officially a neutral country. This is also enshrined in its constitution. It doesn't actually aspire to become even a member of NATO, unlike, for example, neighboring Ukraine. So there is a substantial ground for this kind of abuse, and we have seen this really displayed at wide open in terms of really the Gagauz former governor has been accused of this, physically transporting cash to sponsor people that are protesting against the central authorities led by Maia Sandu as the president and her government. We have seen information interference. We have seen cyber attacks against critical infrastructure. We have seen abuse of these domestic vulnerabilities, such as the diversity within the Moldovan society, including Russian-speaking population. So there is a lot, actually, that has been abused in terms of the infiltration, leaving aside the whole situation in Transnistria, the separatist region, where actually also physical Russian forces are still stationed throughout the last couple of decades. Even if negligible in terms of the number, still there is this kind of also physical means of Russia interference in the domestic affairs of the Republic of Moldova too. Mm-hmm.
Pavel, you mentioned that this is you're calling this a kind of a playground for Russian tactics, this playbook that they are using different forms from misinformation campaigns, also now looking at political money funneling, you name it. At the same time, if we're looking back at the presidential election just last year, Maia Sandu won that. It was very, very close. Recall that. And also the referendum, razor-thin victory there, pro-EU. I mean, with a case like this now, it's going to be in the headlines. It's going to be a very public display here of this case with Ms. Guțul. How much of this is going to, let's say, help the pro-EU camp? How much will it damage us? How is it going to be interpreted by, as you said, a lot of those people who are still very much listening to Russian media?
Yes, unfortunately, this will definitely go against the pro-Western orientation of the Republic of Moldova and the current authorities. As I mentioned, the position of the president, Maia Sandu, is clear and secure for the next couple of years. But of course, she needs the parliament and throughout generated governance that will be crucial for future orientation of the country. That is why also Maia Sandu was so insistent to actually not only push for this referendum, but also afterwards also change the government, change the constitution in a way that it will be hard to reverse the country's future orientation when having a look at the future accession of Moldova into the European Union. So that has been one of the crucial pillars of her work and the current establishment. But of course, you mentioned also before that now the Moldovan population is heavily under fire of Russia disinformation, and this is not only concerning the population living inside of the country of around 3 million, but also hundreds of thousands of people that are actually all across the European countries, in neighboring Romania, in my country of the Czech Republic, in Poland, Germany, or Belgium and France, that also together with Italy have a very substantial population of Moldovan origin, people that actually traditionally support Maia Sandu and the pro-Western orientation of the country as such. So now this is all being questioned. That was confirmed by the State Secretary of State or National Security Advisor Stanislav Sekereru, who actually publicly spoke about Russian propaganda trying to influence the diaspora of Moldova and also swing the vote into a different direction than we saw last year in what he called very rightly a razor-thin result of especially the referendum on the future orientation of Moldova on the European Union and confirming the course of integration within the enlargement track of the EU.
Mm-hmm. And as you said, I mean, these diaspora Moldovans are critical for the outcome of this vote, which is coming up in just a few weeks' time. We know that the margins were very thin, but there's also been a lot of efforts done, surely, about raising awareness of this to citizens who are in Moldova and abroad. How much more prepared, let's say, are citizens, if they're abroad or in Moldova itself? How are they aware of this situation? Are they more prepared? Is Moldova more prepared for fair elections come September?
I think the past 12 months was really a substantial and a very swift learning curve for the Republic of Moldova and its authorities. We know that the government actually is making use of all available resources domestically and also from international partners. Just today in the afternoon, we will be having a conversation with EES, which is the European External Action Service, which is heavily involved in helping the Moldovan authorities. Recently, we visited the Alliance NATO headquarters in Brussels, and also we were assured that all the available resources that are actually at hand are also helping the Moldovan authorities, even if Moldova is not officially aspiring to join the alliance. Still, there is a strong partnership, and the authorities are making use of this kind of help. But most of all, it's the domestic efforts that actually the authorities are cranking down on the people that are sort of the extended hand of the Kremlin. We spoke about the fifth column, also including from the Gagauz authorities. But of course, there is much more also happening in the information domain, in the cyber defense against the attacks coming from Russia and its secret services. There is a lot happening. Also at the background, we know that the Moldovan authorities are very proactive. Actually, we in the Czech Republic, we are having the elections just 1 week after the Republic of Moldova at the beginning of October. And I have to say, in some respects, the Moldovan authorities are actually ahead of the Czech authorities in terms of preparing the ground and preparing making sure that the process of upcoming elections is actually fulfilling all the criteria and standards of integrity.
Mm-hmm. So, well, it's encouraging to hear you say that, and I hope that, and I think many of us will hope that these elections will go smoothly and are fair. And of course, everyone has to be vigilant, whether in Moldova or abroad, for this critical election. Look, we'll close it there. Thank you so much. That was our guest here this morning, Pavel Havlíček. Appreciate all your insights.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
And thank you for watching. That concludes World Talks here on TVP World. But stay tuned, much more coming up, so don't go away. Goodbye.